where you will gain a deeper understanding of the purpose and essence of opening your eyes. This is your chance to enhance self-awareness and personal growth with a shift in perception that provides a fresh outlook on life. Embrace the journey from consciousness to superconsciousness. Coming live by Barrett Kunyan.
Hello. This lovely Ebony Shalom from Australia. It's an honor to have you on our Bioactivator platform. And today, of all days, we will be discussing the hot topic of what does it take to be a galactic human. So I'm really looking forward to that. What I will be doing in a few seconds is I will hand the mic to you, and it will be a real pleasure for you just to tell us a little bit about who you are and your background. Mm-hmm. And then if you're comfortable, I will be putting the bioactivation video. It's about a minute long or so, just to give new listeners what the platform is all about. So welcome, Ebony. And may I say as well, if I can quickly as well, thank you for reaching out, because it was an interview that we were conducting not that long ago. I think less than a week ago. It was. Can you remind us who it was? I think it was Jose.
No, Donovan was on. Donovan Truman. Yeah.
And you kind of, you sent a few messages and the history. Here we are. So, but please take to tell us, about yourself and, your background. I've really connected to your beautiful energy. So thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up.
Well, thank you for having me here and creating this platform where we can converse and, explore all these different realities and perceptions that we're experiencing. So thank you. It's an honor. So, my story. How do you squash that down? We'll start with Earth Realm. I'm a mum. It's probably one of my highest honors. Being a mum to my children. I've learned the most lessons from this role that I play. Moving past that, I've worked in the social work industry for a good most of my life. I've also done Reiki. I started out as a Reiki master in my early 20s and just kind of evolved. My initiation to the galactic and the universe and to myself came about in my 20s. That sort of kicked off in my 20s and lasted a few years. And fast forwarding to today, I do divine blueprint activations. I'm able to read people's energy and decipher and assist them in understanding themselves and working through the layers that, we hold through our experiences here on Earth and in other lifetimes. So it's actually like really, it's really cool. I've got a really cool gig that I've been cultivating over my lifetimes.
And currently you're based which part of Australia? You're
in Melbourne.
Melbourne. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So thank you for that introduction. If it's okay with you, I'm just going to activate the what Bioactivator is about. It will last about a minute, and then we can go into the hot topic of what does it take to be a galactic human. I'm really excited about that. So I will just put this one on, make sure I click on the right one. Here goes.
Bioactivator helps humanity investigate the purpose of our soul evolution by connecting to the biological computer, embracing organic Wi-Fi, which is cosmic energy, in helping humanity remove itself from the hamster wheel mentality, which is fear-based energy, through these fundamental questions. What, where, when, how, who, and why we and all life exist. If you struggle to answer these questions, then you are still on the hamster wheel. Bioactivator does not attempt to heal anybody, but creates harmony and neutrality at its core, with the purpose of do no harm, cause no loss, and do not impose upon the freedom of others, and to help simplify life through natural law.
Well, thank you for that. I trust
Thank you.
it went down well. Do you want to start the conversation? Shall I just put an interesting statement out there, and then you can take over as far as my take on the process of what the process of a galactic human is. My understanding is we're all going through some kind of birthing process, and the nature of that is Mother Earth basically it will ascend to a star status, and so the name of the game is to be anchored and to understand that fundamentally, to have that knowing, and that's through those 6 base questions to understand the essence of who you are, what you are, and your massive contribution to the process, in which I just thought I'll throw that one in to get this beautiful juicy conversation going. So I'd be very honored to have your take on that subject as well. So
Yeah, sure. So
add on to that.
I think for starters, each of us have our own journey that we are on, and some of us have already started the remembering process of why we are here and who we are. And when I say who we are, I'm talking about that soul essence that is within our heart. And it's through our human experiences, I've found personally, and through other lifetimes, that we have created certain layers around ourselves that we've got to kind of work through again. We've got to dissolve those layers to really understand the true nature and essence of ourselves. And when we can connect into that essence that is within us, we start to remember all the different parts of who we are and what makes us who we are, essentially. And it's all an energetic game, and the name of the game would probably be to tune in and keep yourself vibrating high, really. And by tuning in, that essence is connected directly with the earth. And the more tuned in we are, I find that we're able to read the energy and understand it through the different dimensions that we exist in. So it's that whole, what is it to become a galactic being? It's having the insight for yourself and understanding the layers and the different perceptions that come from the different dimensions within that create our multidimensional self, I feel.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, beautiful. Do you feel that we're all unique frequencies in as far as how we siphon information? Because once we remove the indoctrination labels of what we were birthed into, if you will, you begin to understand that you're a particular frequency, a unique frequency, and we're all unique frequency. Like no two souls are the same, no two cells are the same. Fundamentally, I genuinely believe that we're on the same page as far as how we're interpreting this information is to bring everything into alignment. So you bring it into the I am. And that way, the temptation is drawn away, because my sense of awareness is that the temptation is always there to be drawn into some kind of drama, like to say, yeah, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this is masculine, this is feminine, and so forth and so forth. But if you bring it into alignment and try to feel and understand the symbiotic relationship and how everything works, because everything has a feedback, and I call this a biofeedback. So these markers that we're leaving behind, a unique signature, pay attention, be focused on what these markers are. Because are you raising something or are you lowering something? So when you become conscious, you will know that the feedback you will get, a bit like your phenomenal, beautiful energy. I was drawn to you, and I feel, yeah, I love to spend some time and to embrace and to connect higher. So the exchange mechanism is not that of a vampire where people are getting that energy for shall we say selfish reasons, but it's not the right word. But it's about sharing, it's about being and not having a particular need. So these are fantastic elements, how it binds one to become conscious, aware of your galactic responsibility.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that galactic responsibility comes down to understanding energy, and that's where like that whole galactic journey begins. When we can see that everything is energy, we can understand ourselves in as energetic beings, and you can see everything in the world around us as a vibration. Everything holds a frequency, and essentially then we can start optimizing our own personal vibration to meet, and create the reality that we would like to be living in. And so if we aren't aware of our energetic nature, we become really susceptible or vulnerable to just moving with the energies that are provided for us. When we understand ourselves as those energetic beings, and going even deeper, understanding the different frequencies and how we have energetic portals within us, and they're connected to our energy centers in our physical body, we can really optimize how we are exchanging our energy in any given moment and master ourselves. So it's a really cool journey.
yeah, and thank you for that. And the basis for the core, even with this platform that we've created, it's based on guardianship rather than ownership. But the fundamental core that binds it together, that brings clarity, simplicity, and authenticity, is do no harm. That is such a powerful intention that it's for a galactic human. My take on it, doesn't matter where you live, it's how you live. So it's the process of what it is that you're sending out. If there is toxicity of some description, which is usually to do with an element of misinterpretation, your very presence, without any kind of verbal exchanges, your frequency will alter the state in which you harmonize and neutralize. So that's the process of a galactic human that's fully anchored and conscious of itself, and knowing its presence in this field. But tell me, I mean, I've looked at your website as well, and more importantly, I feel your energy. because everything is a byproduct of who you are, what you are, and I
Right.
feel there's a lot to you. There's so much, and can you share some of the experiences that you've been having, and when did your journey, were you fully, I mean, were you pretty much conscious when you came into the physical realm, or did something inspire you, or did you have a particular experience at a particular age that kind
Yeah,
of
I think well, everything sort of planned out the way that it was meant to, and um, yeah, I was 20, so I always felt a little bit different growing up. I've always felt a little bit different. I'm sure many people can relate to that feeling. But yeah, I've always seen things differently and wondered why certain, why do we have to do things that way? Why? Like, just, and that never has stopped. But when I was 20, I went through an initiation process where um, there was it was kicked off by a situation that pretty much emptied all of my energy centers, and so I was left able to ask the questions of why I was here. What am I doing? Like, what is the purpose? I saw the world for the first time without rose-colored glasses, and I became very aware of how, at that time, how cruel the world could seemingly be. And I didn't understand why it was like that. And so because I met those questions, and there was really nothing left to lose and there was nothing to gain. So I just had to surrender. I surrendered and just asked the universal creator, why am I here? There is so much pain here, and what can I do? And so I was taken on this journey within and shown all the different parts of me that were reflected into the reality that I was experiencing, and was able to shift density and collapse timelines that were no longer necessary, and also that had foreseeably created chaos. So this is where the journey sort of began, and the different dimensions of self started opening up, and I was able to travel right to the core of my being and experience the essence of myself and the earth connected, and the earth was literally breathing with me, and there were galactic beings walking on the earth that I could see. Nobody was aware of this. Nobody could see what I was seeing. There wasn't internet back then, so I couldn't reach out. So I wrote everything down. And yeah, so if we fast forward to this time now, that period lasted for a few years. And then a few years ago, when there was like this surge of remembering, right? The Earth's energy ascended, and there was like a mass remembering. And so when everybody started saying and talking about the things that I'd been silent about for like 20 years, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, the sense of relief, like, I cannot tell you. So I just think it's so amazing that there is so many people and beings that are switching on and remembering their divine journey and their essence and truth. And I am here to assist in that process wherever possible, because I know that there is beings here that still haven't quite remembered or even understand that they have divine light is here to assist in this ascension process at this epic time that we are like experiencing. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for that, Ebony. I just have to decline this. Right, I was going to say, is it fair to say that the greatest universal pain is not to know why you open your eyes, to be conscious? So when you open your eyes, how the viewpoint, the precursor, how does it, I mean, I can just share the wisdom of how my day begins, that I am in awe and gratitude to the I am. So my day doesn't ever begin with, oh, it's another day at the office. It really is. I'm so excited, and honored to have this opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to grow, because the word mutation has a negative and positive to it, like everything else. My understanding is truth is mutating to a higher level of perspective. So we are also here to raise the frequency, the vibration. And
Absolutely.
and just to simplify things is, how well do you know yourself? Because everything is a reflection.
Yes.
So and without saying too much, I mean, it's very important to love yourself, and be in that grace and the awe and the ecstasy of the I am, because you don't need to shower people with too many words. Words, as
Mm.
you know, has its limitations, because no two beings will feel the same, because there can be a paradoxical presence behind our words. But fundamentally, when you are at that beautiful core of knowing and being conscious of what footprint you're going to leave,
Mm.
it really is exciting. And tell me your take. I mean, we're not just we're affecting every living organism, right? I mean, it's not.
Yeah, because we're connected to everything. And so trying it back into that, the galactic human, like we are, we've been brought up in a world where our processing has been very limited. So we're led to believe that we as humans are this flesh and bones and blood, and that's it. We're here to, like you could look after a garden and have a nice home and do all these sort of things that are within limits. But there is so much more to our beingness. And this is what happens when you tap into that divine essence that is within you, and you start dissolving those layers. You start finding parts of yourself that tie you in to different frequencies within the galaxy. And like this is when our perceptions start shifting and we start seeing different things. We start understanding things from a higher perspective. I like to look at things like we have all these different versions of self, and all these different versions of self create our wholeness, of who we are. But we have like a higher self, and we have lower vibrating selves as well. And so when we can integrate those lower vibrational versions of ourself with the assistance of our higher vibrational self, we become in alignment. And so it's understanding ourselves enough to be able to love those lower vibrational parts of ourselves and understand where they're at, so that we can assist them in integrating and creating that alignment for ourselves, and yeah, so that's I don't know where I went with that, but yeah.
Thank you, Ebony. That really does resonate. And tell me, your focus on the word, I mean, or words, because I truly practice, it's called divine currency, because my understanding is you do it through two processes, conditional or unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's all about spiritual merit, because I genuinely believe that that's what you gain in terms of doing things unconditionally.
Yes.
Do you feel that this is becoming more natural for people? Because we're now understanding the process of natural law and how it truly does work. So, Galactic Human is fully pledged in understanding the essence of what natural law is. And so, practicing uh, spiritual merit is second nature. It's not that one is putting an effort. It's like, I woke up today and I've got to be, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Am I saying the right things? Am I saying the wrong things? That judgment of self and need, it collapses. It doesn't exist in that respect. So what we're picking up is what people's I wouldn't say lack of, well, it could be like the misinterpretations, because people can misinterpret, right? And that's not a right or a wrong thing. So we're not judging, is it good to misinterpret, or is it, in an ideal world, it's good to have greater clarity. Fundamentally, the very fabric, the very foundation is to know thyself. That is the ultimate, isn't it?
Yeah. And I
And then,
guess with do you feel like with those different versions of self, they all carry a different perception? And so when we've experienced all those different versions of self, we can understand where people are coming from. Like, you know, when they have like a different perception, or that misunderstanding for what we're saying or trying to convey, we're able to understand essentially where they're coming from, because we've been there ourselves, you know what I mean? And can easily go back into that vibration of self, because every perception comes from a frequency. So to be able to see things in a different light and comprehend what somebody else is saying wherever they are on that scale of vibration, I think we just need to have that open mind, and coming back to that natural state of being. That's what our true essence is. And when we tap into that and those layers are dissolved, we really understand that how much we've been
condition.
kind of looking through a distorted lens, if we see it like that, because our natural state of being is of unconditional love. We don't do things to receive things. We don't calculate why we are doing things. We do things with that love in our heart, because we can see that it's going to assist another. And I find this is why a lot of people actually that are very pure of nature or in tune with their natural state of being, if they don't have those boundaries, and this happens, like we go through these teething stages, and I have well and truly had my share of loops there, of putting in those boundaries and giving us, showing and setting an example of the love that we want to receive, essentially.
That's very powerful.
I can't remember the question, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would you be okay? I'm sure you will be comfortable to help, you know, in terms of what modalities have you been using particularly to date, you know, to help raise the frequency? I mean, there's a vast array of modalities one can do. Is there one particular one or two that stands out from the rest? Or would you like to put
Would you
something
want
up?
to do? Okay, so the quickest way I've found to come into your own essence, it takes a couple of minutes, and the more you practice it, the quicker it happens. So I can probably do it with my eyes open now, because I've been practicing. So it's just a matter of, you can have your eyes open or closed. You can be driving even whilst doing this, but focusing on your heart space and just breathing in some air into this heart space, and then seeing that there's that golden light that exists within that heart space at the core of your heart. And then thinking of something that brings joy or love, or peace, something that you've experienced that just creates that feeling. And then watch that golden light glow and grow and expand, and really smile into that feeling, that memory. Sometimes we can sit and hold that feeling for as long as it takes to switch your focus Sometimes it can be just like instantaneous, that feeling that we generate. Our heart is like a muscle. It has a muscle, it is a muscle, but it has muscle memory. And so when we invite those feelings into our heart, the more we practice it, the more it instantly just gives to us, that feeling back. And like our heart is so underrated in so many ways. And so another thing that I like to do and have been incorporating is just taking a minute to honor my physical heart. Like every night we go to sleep and we wake up, and it's because of our heart that we're waking up. We can run, we can breathe, everything, our whole life force energy is because our heart is beating, and just being grateful for that, and feeling into that gratitude and really taking a moment to just say thank you, thank you, you know. So just a couple of little things that we can use as little self-empowerment tools to raise our frequency, our personal vibration, bring us back into our heart space and our natural state of being the more we practice it.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I do as well. And visualization, would you like to add something to that? Because respectively for the new Earth situation, with because the kind of downloads that I've been getting since January of this year, more so than ever, is the harmonics, how we harmonize the planet, because she's going through earth changes, like even we go back thousands of years, how the continents broke, because it's like a pregnant lady where the stretching, and so things begin to break. But my understanding of the breakages is not one of a negative or positive. It is a process. It's a bathing um, situation, bathing situation. So it's a glory to be present and to be participants in this transition. So for me, because there are within our spiritual community, there are beings, and I respect them highly. There are some elements of fear mongering reference to some of the catastrophes that await, and there is an element of fear based behind it, undoubtedly. But again, it's the symbiotic nature of the all-knowing, isn't it? It's like the temptation is always there to buy into the drama. The latest being what's happening in Israel, for example. And before that was Ukraine, and before that was, so in order for, I mean, I'm very grateful for all the experiences, because for me to be where I am at the moment is because I've been able to balance everything and to be anchored, where you don't say black's better than white or white is better than black. So it's to stay in that neutral process. Could you add some flavor to that reference to some of the experiences and interpretations and downloads that you've been having, more so now than ever, shall we say? Because this is a critical point in humanity at the moment, isn't it, with all that's going on?
Absolutely. I think my connection with my galactic family started in the year 2000. And so that telepathic communication that I have and the downloads that I receive and the guidance has always been there. That's why I've never felt alone. Like I just never feel alone because I know I'm not. And when you tap into those higher realms through that essence in your heart, you start seeing things from that higher self version, right? But that doesn't mean that we don't experience things as a human, right? This is like really important to understand, I feel, as well, because there's kind of like people that might say, oh, well, you're not a perfect person, or you still lose your temper, or Yeah, I absolutely do. If someone annoys the crap out of me or is rude to me or disrespectful, I'm very tolerant. But if they push me to a certain level, I am going to, as a human, be, probably say something and act out. I will probably think about it and like think about how I'm going to respond next time. But there's still these experiences that we have as a human. But as long as we can look at our energy exchange and take responsibility for any given situation, right? We can start to own those parts of ourselves, those lower vibrational parts of ourselves that maybe reacted instead of responded. And so this is how we bring all of ourselves into, like all of our versions of self into alignment by these things coming about, so we can notice them. And then we have an opportunity to change the things or integrate our knowing into these versions of self. And so we have to have and go through these human experiences. And can I say as well, like, even that human emotion, where, like, I'm sure there's been many people that have experienced heartbreak and like just that horrible feeling that you can get, but it's not actually a horrible feeling. It's a feeling, and it's an honor in the higher vibrational self when you look at it and go, I'm alive and I'm experiencing all these different emotions, right? And if I wasn't here and I wasn't having this human experience, I wouldn't, like, it's an honor. The highs and the lows, these are all indications of how we can assist our physical body align with our higher self and that divine energy. And it's all there for us to work with. Nothing's against us. The universe has our back, and these are why we're getting given all these different energies to work with. So yeah.
No, that's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. That one of several reasons why we created this platform is really to help souls connect to the independency of life rather than the dependencies, and not knocking any gurus, because I'm not out here to say there are good ones, bad ones. Temptation is always there, but fundamentally someone who's mastered themselves and they understand the essence of who they are, they automatically, like a magnet, it will send even very powerful messages, so that people are drawn. The how you radiate will affect their presence. So fundamentally, a true master is a person who creates mastery for others through the process of independence rather than dependence, and turn it into a profit-making industry, because that's not what it's about. And Jesus, Christ consciousness has demonstrated that we're not here to create a marketplace where we sell t-shirts and mugs and cups and pens. But again, there's, for me, I'm not condemning it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be selling these things either. So I want to make sure that people don't misunderstand what I'm saying, because the intention is so important. It's like money, for example. I'd like your view on the word money, because for me, I don't see money as a negative tool. I see it as a very positive tool, because what are your intentions? What are you doing with the money, right? So you want to add something to that as well, because within the spiritual community, and I was one of them for a while. I was like condemning money, almost saying that, these practices, we have to be careful how we lay it out there, because first of all, we're not here to heal anybody. We're not here to, what we are fundamentally is to be in our being.
Yes. Yeah. And assist each other on our journey. And so when we exchange our energy with any given person, and that could be a direct connection or just going about our life, in our everyday life and sparkling stuff as we go behind us, this is something that we've got to be mindful of. And I can't remember what I was saying, where I was going with that, because I was thinking about another question. Can we come back to that? Because
Sure.
I'm thinking about like the whole money thing. I'm going to pause on that. And for a long time, like I had this thing inside of me where it was almost like a guilt for wanting to have nice things, or, experience things, because I knew that there was poverty in the world and everything like this. But in recent times, I've come to the understanding also that the current world as it is operates through that frequency of money, and that's all it is. It's an energetic exchange, and with that energetic exchange, we can do really good things, and we can have really great experiences, right? And we can do more of our service to others if we have that essentially, backing us. And so it's that whole thought that, and also like it doesn't have to be. So for me, like I have a service, you can exchange money, or you can exchange a service, or you can do a donation. Like there's always ways around things, and I'll meet you wherever you're at, and that's totally fine. There's ways around things, and it's about being creative and understanding that we still exist at this point in time where money is used, and money can bring about really positive change. And as you said, it's the intention. It's the intention. If you want to have money and then keep it all to yourself and then go, oh, I've got lots of money in the bank, and that, like that's fine if that's what you want to do. But there's also people that want to go, right, I'm going to make a whole heap of money, and I'm going to go and do really great things and create change for others. So it just becomes about what you would do with it. And, hopefully we will get to a place through setting examples of bartering and exchange of services and donations and things like this, as we all move into our higher vibrational selves, of how we can create a world where it isn't necessarily focused on that money or the divide that it creates.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Ebony. I mean, yeah, agreed. I mean, for me, it's the word competition, because even when I was in the rat race mentality attitude, because as you might be aware, if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. So it's coming out of that mind frame. I've always been, for a vast percentage of my life, a value builder than a value destroyer, because I'm not out there to compete. For me, it's a very dangerous situation when you're competing, because you're causing harm
Mm.
to the natural order of things. So you have to be mindful of how you're treating people, and being an empathetic way of looking at life, being a value builder. For a long period of my life, I've come out of the business environment, um, but I'm happy to occasionally go back in, so that I can send these very powerful vortex of frequencies. Is qualification. How do you qualify a person? Well, you got to look at the questions. For example, I was a car salesman for about a year, and being a not value destroyer, value builder, I asked the fundamental question: why a 5-door? Why do you want a 3-door? Why can't I put you into a 5-door? Because if I put you into a 3-door opposed to a 5-door, you've saved a person a lot of money. So it's all about saving time, money, and energy in that respect. So being conscious of being, I always see the world from other people, what people are seeing in me. That is so important. So for me, I need to know the nucleus of why an individual needs a certain need for something, because
Yeah.
certain things, is it a nice to have, or do you really need that?
Yeah.
So it's,
Or what is your intention to, like, what is the intention, like, to have, or want, or need that? Like, there's always, like, it's It's yeah. And it doesn't really bother me what anyone else wants to do with their money, as long as it's not hurting anyone. You know?
Yeah, I mean, let's put ourselves in an awkward situation, a hypothetical, which is part of the brute reality in which we function. I mean, there is, you know, I mean, on one of Jesse Howe, when I was being interviewed recently, I used chemtrails as a classic example.
Yeah.
It can create serious blockages if you validate it. So, you know, the brute reality, what is real? I mean, at the end of the day is, let's just say someone put something out there and said, well, chemtrails really do exist. Okay, so you got to understand the primary objective of why, because certain things can have a double-edged sword. So am I siphoning the energy from my understanding, or am I borrowing information from other people? I mean, for me, my operating system right now, especially of January of this year, is I'm in alignment with reference to the Guardians and the Galactic Federation of Light. So in terms of what I'm sort of putting out there is, because there's a lot of toxicity out there, which I'm grateful for, because in order to understand the essence of anything, you have to go through the process of its opposing polarity.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a question of putting into alignment. So can chemtrails, can certain things hurt? Yes, is my answer. How do you diffuse it? How do you neutralize it? How do you harmonize it? Well, it's being in that 0 point field where all the possibilities and timelines exist, all happening at the same time. So you neutralize it by saying, yeah, it can be negative, it can be positive, but the best place is to be neutral. And that's the best way of harmonizing a certain situation or event, because not everybody has, because sometimes people, I don't know whether you have, but I have. I mean, and occasionally happens to me that people use you as a punch bag and you're talking about boundaries, but you know, you make it clear to the person it's not the best way to participate. It's not the best way to go out there throwing punches at people or situations. The other thing, if I may, I'm talking too much right now, but for me, what the downloads I'm getting, especially the next couple of weeks, maybe don't have that long a time, is when people are beginning to realize how they've been lied to in terms of the information that has been going out there through the media. It's important to send harmonizing and neutralizing way of helping individuals to their perception, the illusion, the truth, the authenticity of what is really going on. So we just got to be mindful, right, of ourselves and take greater responsibility and ownership of our own responses. And the best way is not to cause harm, right? Because two wrongs don't make a right. It's logical.
Yeah.
So the worst thing you want to do is do what they were doing, because then things are going, the patterns, everything's going to repeat.
That's right. That's it. Yes, exactly. And that's the key. Everything works in patterns. When we can see energy and when we understand that everything is a pattern, everything in nature is created from a pattern, then it becomes very easy to read people and read what is going to you can just read the cycles, you can read the energy, you can read what is in their mind, essentially, just based on that energy, the patterns of energy. That's how it is. And so the higher you vibrate, you still have patterns, but you create different patterns from a higher perspective. And so therefore you can move out of those patterns that have affected you, or that you've been keeping on cycling and creating all those lower vibrational feelings, or you can step out of it and elevate yourself into those high vibrations and understand that that's not actually you. That's an experience that you had that's generated those emotions, and you can use your higher self to nurture that part of yourself and assure yourself that that was just an experience, and I've learned A, B, C, and D, and now that is no longer needed. So you can step in tune with my higher self. I'm going to love the crap out of that experience and part of me, and voila, you get like upgrade, you shift.
Well, occasionally one gets triggered into a particular space where they feel victimized, or a place where they feel that in terms of my understanding is like, in an ideal world, it's a spontaneous reaction you need to have, whereby you don't need a lot of thinking. The thinking aspect for me personally, and this, and I'm not belittling anybody, and I, occasionally go into that area as well to understand it's quite a complex area. A lot of the thinking usually is self-doubt. So once that's removed, it's pretty spontaneous. And the way I spontaneously react more and more now, of course I do get occasionally tested, like we all do, is to smile.
Yeah.
And to hold space, breathing again, very powerful tool. Breathe in, hold the breath, and exhale, and know that to be a galactic being is a being where they are an observer. The temptation is there to become the game, but play the game, but don't become the game. And that's the process. And my understanding, there are no winners and there are no losers. It's when you realize that you've been given an opportunity to gain. There are many fundamental reasons why people incarnate into this field. Primarily is to test the limits of your soul, not just to know your soul. Knowing your soul is one thing, and then it's like realization becoming God realization. It's then saying, okay, it's a new earth is being created, and it's a birth process, and certain beings of light are coming into the context of the presence, where we will now a bit like us coming together as well. It's like holding space, holding that energy, and then saying, what do we want what do we want to procreate? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. The way I see it, it's really, I mean, there's a beautiful soul. Sorry, I hope I'm not saying too much. But it's there. His name is Rob Shunande from Newcastle, in the UK. I mean, the way he's putting the message out there, he's come up with a prediction for, it's called a plasma event, Halloween, October next year. Yeah, I get that. I get that there is going to be a very put it this way: if you're attached to the aspects of things that detach you, rather than the process is to detach, not to attach. So once you understand who you are, what you are, you will let go. It's like the word surrender.
Yeah.
So once for me, it's a celebration. It's a time where people come together now to celebrate the separation. It's a very powerful process that's going on right now. Do you feel that it's important to visualize, Ebony, right now, to what we want the new earth to look like? Or do you
I
think
feel
that
like, yeah, like I feel like we are just naturally, because of the resonance that's being held within us, and there's so many more people coming on board and holding those higher vibrations, and there's less of a veil, less distortions in our environment. We are naturally resonating towards our soul cruise, and if wherever we're at, we're going to be drawing in that same kind of energy, because there's less disturbances and there's more high vibrational energy that's available. And so as we're all we're all moving, regardless of wherever you're vibrating at, we are all moving. But I feel like there's more soul connections that are available. And as we all start activating our blueprints and utilizing our energies to sort of call in what is needed, we all contribute to this toral field of energy that exists in us and around us and within the earth, and that connects us all and keeps going and then expands out to the universe. And we're all feeding in and off each other. And this is the great thing. Like every time someone activates, we share their codes. You know, there's this new earth grid that is being formed by the activation and the divine activation of these blueprints. And every time someone switches on, we share in that energy, you know, and another and this just keeps amplifying. It's like this massive switchboard. And the more energy that and beings that connect into it, the more that it gives back to the earth. And then it just keeps going. It just keeps expanding and calling people into that. It's pulling people up, like literally. Like I can see it in my head. It's like, it's awesome. What is happening that doesn't meet the eye at this time is fucking epic. I'm just going to swear. I'm sorry, but like it is. And if you can see it, like you will understand, like it's phenomenal. And yeah, it's just really exciting.
Is it fair to say, and for many, maybe there's no right or wrong answer to this, but do you feel, I've got my own core understanding what's happening to Mother Earth, but it's not for me to put it into words, but I can attempt to do that. But do you feel that Mother Earth has ascended to this level of consciousness before, or is it something completely new? I'm not talking about its inhabitants, right? I'm not talking about the people that was part of an evolution, but I'm talking about a living, breathing being, Mother Earth, Gaia. She's going to hit basically the star status, type 1 civilization, shall we say. This has never happened, right? Are we on the same page, or has it happened before? And it was, because there's a lot of mixed messages I'm getting within the spiritual community. Some people are saying that we've been downgraded and that we now need to upgrade ourselves. But I'm not talking about the consciousness of the humans. I'm talking about Mother Earth as a living, breathing being.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say she's never reached to star status?
No, well, from my understanding, is that this is all new. This birthing, of the divine essence within her is all new because it's been suppressed. It has been suppressed and it has been held back. But you can only hold nature back for so long. You cannot suppress the evolution. It's a natural process. And so this is where there is no fear. When we understand this, everything is a natural evolutionary process. It eliminates so much fear because essentially we win. Like that's, so the way that I see it and understand it and feel the earth is that she too is dissolving the layers of distortion and the layers of density that has been built around her core. And then you get people that say, she doesn't have a core, we've got a flat earth. Whatever it is to you, there is density that has been put in that energetic system of the earth, and that all has to dissolve. And that is just a reflection of what is happening with us as humans and in the galaxy, with all life forms. It is all just like that microcosm, macrocosm.
What Rob, thank you for that. What Rob is saying, Rob Shinande, is it's a death. He's kind of putting it out like it's, when we talk about life and death, which is two essential living organisms, you can't have one without the other. But it's the misinterpretation of death, for example. It's like me saying, what is white compared to black? When you understand the essence, because we've been a lot of people have been traumatized, and again, with the indoctrination systems, with the relationship with what is death and what is life. Now, my understanding, when you bring it into order and balance, it's a process of evolution. It's where you, like, from a human perspective, you could say this analogy where the caterpillar becomes a butterfly. I mean, are we going to say, well, that did we go for it? What's important is to have the realization that you haven't lost your memory in knowing that it's a process that everything is going through, because it's not just human that is being, everything is evolving at the same time, so we can't just say human, right? Do you want to add?
Yeah, and look, I feel like there's been so many different conversations about how this new earth is going to look, even, and how that evolves, and like it's we all exist right here, and
Yeah.
we all exist wherever we are vibrating. So the only thing that we need to focus on is creating a high vibrational state of being if we want to assist in this process, right? And see what is available to us, because we don't actually go anywhere. No one's leaving. Our perception is going to change. And the higher your vibration, the more beautiful things become, and the more peace and that vibrational unconditional love and the essence that's in your heart, that's what you become. The essence in your heart is what you become. Like, that
Yeah.
is how you feel. You integrate that whole essence. That's it. That's it. So we're not going anywhere except for into ourselves to really integrate that essence and bring that into the new earth.
Well, that's really powerful. I'm enjoying this immensely. I mean, and also, if I can add an additional flavor to our discussion, is understanding, not just obviously to understand the essence of who you are, what you are, your precursor to know how much because the way the collective works, the way, when, I mean, there is a little thing called a critical mass period, when there's enough people who are paying attention to the first-hand information, not second-hand information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, information is very easily available, but it's like putting the cat among the pigeons. To know the highest authentic information is first-hand, which is within ourselves. Because when that's another reason why we did kind of like decide to create this platform. It's about helping the organic Wi-Fi opposed to the synthetic. But I'm not condemning the synthetic. I'm not saying it's I'm not even going to be judgmental about it. In order to know the essence of, in order to know sweet, you have to experience the sour, and then you bring it into equilibrium. So thank you for the synthetic. Now we talk about natural organic Wi-Fi, which is cosmic energy, which is all around us, right?
Yeah.
So your antenna, yeah. So once you connect, it's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like I need validation, because for me, the highest form of validation, how are you affecting every living organism once when the orchestra is playing for the love essence that you are? How are people getting enough of you? Because people, it's not a case of, oh my God, I don't want to see him again. It's a case of, I can't wait to see him again. So it's like, why would anyone say that? Because you're not imposing, you're not throwing your weight on people from a selfish, corrupt nature called synthetic implants, and how you impose on the freedom of others. The highest sovereignty is to allow people to express themselves with the nucleus, the universal nucleus of not do no harm. That's fundamental. We get that. That's in
Yeah.
certain commandments in the Bible as well. Because there are very powerful codes. We have to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
So, but once we put that into context, what's there to fear? What else is there if we understand that death does not exist from the way the dramas out there, like, because it's quite, and I was one of them for a while until I had this amazing outer body experience that it doesn't exist from the way it's been portrayed, and I get that because some of the things that we see that's carried out in terms of you're put in the coffin and this, that, and the other, it's quite traumatic, if I can say so.
Yeah.
And when we see graveyards, I do not see graveyards anymore. I don't see cemeteries, and I don't see, and I'm not here to be anti-establishment. I don't need to be anti-establishment because I'm not here to bring everything down. I'm here to raise everything higher. So I don't need to go out there and be anti anything. I'm not here to institutionalize anything in terms of my ability to siphon the information. My ability is to the purity and the kindness and the grace and the embodiment of who I am, what I am. So, and I don't need validation. The point, after all that drama of conversation, the whole thing is know thyself. Fundamentally, that whole knowing is the most powerful, isn't it? Because you don't need.
It is. And having the flexibility also to continue to grow, because even though we know ourselves, and we'll get to a point where we're like, yes, I know this, I know this of myself. We become different versions of ourselves, utilizing even our true essence. And there's different aspects of ourselves that have not been explored and that we don't know about. So we never actually stop growing. And even though we may think we know ourselves, there is even more to know. And the more we gift out, not seeking anything for ourselves, the more we gift of our essence, we just naturally, it will come back and we grow. If we share and we grow, and that is our divine nature, to expand and give. It's just, that's how it works. And if you have an intention to expand and grow and assist others and come from that place, you will continue to expand and grow, and your heart won't close and your mind won't close, and you won't have as many layers to work through. And there's ways to dissolve those layers that aren't like, so we get tricked into, we've been tricked into this thing. And I just, before we close up, we've been tricked into thinking that a lot of the time we are broken, or that our experiences in life are who we are, and that it's going to take a lifetime to unfold or unpack all of the stuff I've squished down after 50 years. Not true. Not true, because you know what? A lot of that can just be packaged up into one version of self. And if we're willing to let it go, it might be uncomfortable to sift through for a little bit. But there are ways now available to us where you don't have to go through all that pain again. There's simple ways it can be dissolved and lifted. And those modalities are available to everyone here. And they exist through people like ourselves doing the work that we do in the quantum field, utilizing the quantum energies. This is what they're for. This is what being a galactic human is all about, utilizing the memories of our lifetimes and innate skill set and anchoring them here on Earth to assist others that haven't found theirs yet. And through these quantum energies and these abilities, we can literally
Thank you very, very much. It's been a beautiful conversation, and if you feel that, you know, if we were to do another session on maybe something a little bit different, because I'm also I'm excited about some of the DNA activations that are taking place within that. So we're becoming telepathic, shall we say, about everything. So I mean, we could in the foreseeable future have a little session on that with the 0 point field of, because for me, one of the fundamental reasons why things are raising itself big time is because I'm happy. And for me, that's the foundation, that when you wake up and you're in that awe and ecstasy of being excited of who you are, and you're comfortable in your being, you will affect everything, every living organism in front of you and behind you, above you, below you, everywhere, 360 degrees. So I thank you, Ebony, for your beautiful presence today, because you are definitely a spark of the divine. And I equally like to thank you for reaching out as well, because, you know, for me, it's about being connected, and it's about putting a loving energy, which fundamentally that's the name of what we represent.
And I just
we're not here to condemn. We're not here. So thank you very, very
much. Thank you. Thank you for thanking. I'm trying to thank you.
So
I want to send some love your way, and just say, really, like, thank you for allowing me to share the space. And it's not, I just hope that even if this reaches one person, it's okay to be different and speak your mind, because I've been walking around for the last over 20 years not being able to speak about the things that I see, and now these things are normalizing, and there are so many more. You know, I'm a mum, I do school runs, I also channel people that have passed over, and speak to galactic teams and all these different sorts of things, and that's okay, because I operate in different dimensions. And I just hope that everyone can tap into their divine essence and understand that they are these divine beings that have access to the entire universe. And it starts by emptying their heart and loving themselves and every part of themselves, no matter what. We're here having a human experience. No one had a rule book. No one's got instructions. Just go, like, you know, be kind, love, be you. And as you said before, happy. Do what makes you happy, truly happy. Not for someone else, but for you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ebony. See you again very, very soon.
Yeah.
Peace.
Thank you.
Big hug.
Bioactivator would like to thank you for your kind support and donations. Through Barrett Tunyan's
Did it
guardianship
stop?
of this platform, his activation of truth harmonizes, neutralizes, and unblocks the meridians that connect, balance, and purify all that comes in contact. Do no harm is the key that fully opens the heart's voice to be in the union of the I Am presence, and will represent every living organism on the planet whose voice would otherwise not be heard. Remember, the truth will set you free. Do no harm, cause no loss, and do not impose upon the freedom of others. Love, light, and